begins with the accumulation of private possessions that enrich our brief lives, and it creates intangible values of accomplishment and satisfaction. But growth also brings anxieties, concerns, and fears. People, be it children marking their increasing height on a door frame, countless chief economists preparing dubious forecasts of output and trade performance, or radiologists looking at magnetic resonance images, worry about it in myriads of different ways. Growth is commonly seen as too slow or as too excessive. It raises concerns about the limits of adaptation and fears about personal consequences and major social dislocations. In response, people strive to manage the growth they can control by altering its pace, to accelerate it, moderate it, or end it, and dream about and strive to extend these controls to additional realms. These attempts often fail even as they succeed, and seemingly permanent mastery may turn out to be only a temporary success. But they never end. We can see them pursued at both extreme ends of the size spectrum as scientists try to create new forms of life by expanding the genetic code and including synthetic DNA in new organisms, as well as proposing to control the Earth's climate through geoengineering interventions. Organismic growth is a product of long evolutionary process, and modern science has come to understand its preconditions, pathways, and outcomes, and to identify its trajectories that conform, more or less closely, to specific functions, overwhelmingly to S-shaped, sigmoid curves. Finding common traits and making useful generalizations regarding natural growth is challenging, but quantifying it is relatively straightforward. So is measuring the growth of many man-made artifacts, tools, machines, productive systems, by tracing their increase in capacity, performance, efficiency, or complexity. In all of these cases, we deal with basic physical units: length, mass, time, electric current, temperature, amount of substance, luminous intensity, and their numerous derivatives, ranging from volume and speed to energy and power. Measuring the growth phenomena involving human judgment, expectations, and peaceful or violent interactions with others is much more challenging. Some complex aggregate processes are impossible to measure without first arbitrarily delimiting the scope of an inquiry and without resorting to more or less questionable concepts. Measuring the growth of economies by relying on such variables as gross domestic product or national income are perfect examples of these difficulties and indeterminacies. But even when many attributes of what might be called social growth are readily measurable, examples range from the average living space per family and possession of household appliances to destructive power of stockpiled missiles and the total area controlled by an imperial power. Their true trajectories are still open to diverse interpretations, as these quantifications hide significant qualitative differences. Accumulation of material possessions is a particularly fascinating aspect of growth, as it stems from a combination of a laudable quest to improve quality of life, an understandable but less rational response to position oneself in a broader social milieu, and a rather atavistic impulse to possess, even to hoard. There are those few who remain indifferent to growth and need, India's loinclothed or entirely naked sadhus and monks belonging to sects that espouse austere simplicity. At the other extreme, we have compulsive collectors, however refined their tastes may be, and mentally sick hoarders who turn their abodes into garbage dumps. But in between, in any population with rising standards of living, we have less dramatic quotidian addictions, as most people want to see more growth, be it in material terms or in intangibles that go under those elusive labels of satisfaction with life or personal happiness achieved through amassing fortunes or having extraordinarily unique experiences. The speeds and scales of these pursuits make it clear how modern is this pervasive experience, and how justified is this growing concern about growth. A doubling of average sizes has become a